think all the views come in from like a.m. Eastern to 3:50 Eastern.
Alright, I just started recording. What's up,
Mm,
guys? It's me, DFS Dynasty. More NBA breakdowns.
my name's Marco. The ladies call me Marco for short. So let's get into it.
Are those your notes I hear?
I've already done about half the research on slate.
That's good. That's good.
A little bit more as we go. Well, if you didn't know, this is I'm go speaking, and I'm more towards like a FanDuel oriented situation, but obviously the stats will translate across the board. Not a lot of difference in stats. Like if you take someone with 78 fantasy points on over on FanDuel, they're probably going to have between 75 and 80 on DraftKings. DraftKings triple double 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 bonus. They take less for turnovers, less for and then they give you a little more for three pointers. That's pretty much the same. Headlines on both sides are usually within 10 points of each other. The other one might be 341 or something at the most. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the main slate. There is an all-day slate that has one more game. Just talk about the main slate, not a lot of prizes for the main slate, but or for the all day, but for the main, there's a good amount of prizes. We got $100,000 first place prize, and all they want is $7.77. FanDuel account, you could be walking away with $100,000 check.
Right.
Unless you want them to send you 100 grand through PayPal, which quite frankly I wouldn't be on board with. I'd like to just get the check in the mail.
Anyway.
Anyway, it's a 6-game slate. There are 4 players who are pretty much out or very likely to be out.
Who's out tomorrow,
Out.
Curran?
Marcus Smart is out.
Okay.
From Mr. Marco. Okay. I think though. And Vujovic over on the Magic is double check before the slate starts, but I think he's out. Mr. Bell, kind of a lower priced player on Golden State, he is out. And Devin Harris is a little scrub on Dallas. Looks like he's out. The pretty much out players, not a lot, right? 6-game slate. Yesterday was or today, I guess, Friday was a 10-game slate, and there were a lot more people out. There are 4 players that are questionable for tomorrow's games. We're on the Pacers. Hollis Jefferson on the Nets. Willard Johnson on the Heat. So, high-scoring people I just mentioned as far as fantasy points. Butler, obviously the most important questionable player. About wraps up the injury report.
Has Butler played yet?
He's been out for 4 or 5 games. He has not been back in yet since.
Motherfucker.
Come on. But they're against Brooklyn, right? So that should be a little bit of a fiesta. As far as the rest of my injury report, things might change, so keep an eye on that. Yeah, like I said, 4 players most likely out, 4 players questionable, and there's only one person who is probable tomorrow, and that is Kevin Durant. You're going to find a lot of value over on Golden State, but he's probable as of now. So teams that are most affected by recent injury, I would say if Vujovic's out, Orlando is going to have maybe some good picks tomorrow just from that. My second place injury team would be Boston with Marcus Smart out. And then Golden State and Minnesota are both options with Bell out and Butler.
I feel like we
Right.
just played this slate. Really similar to a slate
Play this.
from the other
Nice
day.
little 6-gamer. Yeah, I like 6 games. If I had to pick a slate to play in, I probably would pick a 6-game slate. Not too small, not too big.
So that it's like one that fits inside of you just right.
Exactly. I like a snug fit, not too small, not too big. Thing.
Alright, so should we start off with the point guard?
I would love to get cracking on the point guards, but I want to ask you this because I feel like it's kind of an important topic to brush over real quick. What game you think is going to be the closest? Right? Because a competitive game makes for more fantasy points. You got more starters in, get more production from them. What are we looking at as far as like competitive games here?
You definitely gotta think Boston and Golden State should be competitive, right?
You know, a lot of people are gonna assume that game is on ABC, which is a network, national network. There's gonna be 10 to 30, 40 million people watching that game. But I think with Marcus Smart out, he's kind of their flopper in chief. He's the one that makes those late game offensive foul plays happen. Him, I don't really see a world where Boston beats Golden State. I know he's not a key player, but I would give Boston like a 15% chance of winning that game, and I'd probably give it like a 25% chance of being competitive.
I want
At
some
the end of the
Pacers
third quarter.
players. I might take someone from the Heat, maybe someone from Dallas.
I ranked my top 3 close games, and I actually went with Charlotte, Miami as my closest game.
Charlotte's kind of doo-doo butter though.
I know, but that's the way I went as far as close radar. Not a lot of these games are gonna be close, but Charlotte, Miami, Washington, Atlanta, and Orlando, Indiana are my 3 closest games.
Okay.
And some notes on Orlando. Starters have good value tomorrow if Vujovic remains out, which it looks like he will. And Indiana, obviously Turner is questionable. Might be some good picks there. Washington actually might blow out Atlanta, even though I put it as the second most likely game to be close. If Atlanta is behind against Washington, their starters are going to get more play. Screwing everybody.
They're gonna get more play.
I think Washington is more likely to be ahead of Atlanta. Is losing, then they're going to have their starters in, their big boys in, like Bazemore, Roeder. Holland did well today. If Tyler Johnson is out because he's questionable right now, probably still gonna have good value. I feel like the past week or two, we've had Miami with Dragic and Tyler Johnson, and you've seen people like Wayne Ellington give you really good value. I think they're good picks if Tyler's still out.
It's tomorrow the day Jimmy comes back.
I'd love to see him work his magic against the Nets. Yeah, so I think picking Charlotte, starters, or even Jeremy Lamb or Kid Gilchrist or Carter Williams, those might be good. Before we move on to point guards, I just want to ask you, what games do you see as being high scoring? 21-10, that kind of score line. The final.
It's gotta be the Pacers game. I think that the Washington game is high scoring.
Right on board with you. So the Pacers game I have as my second highest scoring. But this is kind of contrarian, I think. But I think the Brooklyn Minnesota game will be high scoring more so than any other game.
You think so? I
Like
don't know.
I think like if you add up Minnesota and Brooklyn points, any other
Yeah,
game,
they don't have any
I think it goes
estimated points
Brooklyn.
for that game yet.
That's yeah. But I think Brooklyn, Minnesota, then Indiana, Orlando, then Atlanta, Washington, and Golden State, Boston could be high scoring. 2 games left. Maybe even Dallas, Denver, but I don't know, man. That game's sketchy to me. That's the scariest game on the slate for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, there's some picks on Denver and Dallas that are good either way, but it's just a sketchy game, right?
For sure.
Bottom team and a top team. You look at Denver's home record. Yikes! That's what I'm thinking. Do a rundown of point guards. What are you liking as far as the #1 fantasy point production? What do you have to say about it?
I think I'm gonna go John Wall.
John Wall over Kyrie, Kemba, and Steph.
I think
Expect that.
so.
Washington. Definitely an interesting matchup for John. He's kind of been doing a little subpar over the past 4, averaging about 33 over the past 4. If you up and divide it, that's definitely not going to get you where you want to be, right?
No, it's
Coming up
not.
on December 27th.
I just
A month
do
ago.
not know what to expect from the Celtics Warriors game.
Oh, Kyrie's going to be a good pick because no Smart. Smart does a lot of scoring. Probably averages like 13 points, maybe. It's going to be a Kyrie show
I
if
like
Boston's going to
Kyrie's
stay
price.
competitive. 43. I think he does that in his sleep. I think Kyrie's a good pick. But this is my concern with John Wall. I look at the last time he met up against Atlanta. He only got 26 fantasy points and 33. This is kind of a recency bias fluke situation.
Goran Dragic is dead. Alfred Payton.
So I think for my rankings, I like putting Kyrie above everybody else in this pool, even though he's got a lot lower FPPG than Steph Curry. Kyrie as the #1 in fantasy point production tomorrow. Does that sound like a possibility to you, or you think I'm way off on that?
Kemba's looking great on DraftKings.
Nice, nice.
Labs is giving me
So,
this fella named Jose Juan Barea.
Big Daddy JJ is gonna bring it to the table, maybe for a value pick.
They also gave me
Those are your
Jimmy
thoughts?
Butler, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy Butler's a point guard. So, besides Kyrie,
They,
who are you liking on point guards? As
uh,
far as like just as far as overall fantasy points, like the
I
highest
like
number,
Alfred.
biggest bingo. I like him too. I think Alfred will get more than Teague, Dragic, Schroeder. Maybe more than Kemba.
I like Kemba a lot too. I like him more
My
on
power,
DraftKings
for
because
my,
he's cheap on DraftKings.
it's tough, man. It's
He's
tough. My
75 on DraftKings.
power rankings. I'm gonna go Kyrie, then Steph. Uh, mm, I don't know. Then Kemba, then J Wall, hmm, ooh, Paulson had a big game today, and his price hasn't changed. Yummy. That's 5 already ranked. I guess I can. It's so hard to root for Schroeder after he's fucked me so many times without my consent. Didn't take me out to dinner. Didn't give me a kiss on the forehead.
I hate Darren Collison.
Busted. Consolidated. podcast. I'm going to finish it out with one more power ranked point guard, and it's going to be. I think tomorrow's a Dinwiddie day. I'm doing it. I'm rooting for Dinwiddie.
Oh no.
I think it can really get going.
Dinwiddie.
The Nets are on the uptick. They nearly beat the Thunder at home. By 1 point they lost. I think it's definitely an option. Carlson at 5,400. Wrong with that either. Especially at home against the dirty little Magic. They're going to need to pull off some magic if they're going to shut Carlson down. I'll tell you what.
Alfred.
Exactly. What do you think about the SG? Who's going to get the most fantasy player in this pool? Who's got the number one fantasy point production tomorrow? Who is it?
It's either Brad or Victor.
Couldn't be more right. But you saw what Brad did. Frickin' friends. You think he's gonna maybe take a breather, let Wall and Porter and Uber and
No such thing as breaks.
no breaks for BB. Question: Beal or Oladipo most fantasy points per pro?
Ooh. Oladipo. Revenge game. Old team. He's gonna show
As you were picking Oladipo to get more points than Beal, I was writing it down, so I think we're all on board with that, and I think FanDuel's pricing is on board with that too. I'll tell you what. Not a big fan of Oladipo being pretty much 10K over on FanDuel. That's pretty expensive for him. He can get you 70, he can get you 60 or 50, but he can also get you 32.4 or something stupid like that. Right?
coming in at 9,400 on DraftKings. A little too much over there.
And it's like the same as FanDuel. It's just a little too much, right? I still think you can get away with picking him. Not the biggest slate, not the most options here. He might be a must pick, although last time I said that in the small slate, he dropped 32. Something like that. I think you gotta probably rank Beal as your second place. Obviously, Gary Harris can outperform that, especially against Dallas. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess. I hate the Mavericks so much.
There's, it's tough to pinpoint what's going to happen with the Mavericks, and I'll tell you this, though. The Mavericks visited Denver less than 2 weeks ago. Mr. Gary Harris put 45 fantasy points on the board that game.
He did,
so this is a repeat game. They played each other at Denver. Went for 45. They played Atlanta. He went for 45. So I'm noticing a pattern with this dude where when he's playing less than 500 teams, a lot less than 500, by the way, when we're talking Mavs.
And that looks like it when he's at home.
So Gary Harris could get you
Were those games
7 or 8 value
when he was at home?
They were. Atlanta, 45 at home. Not a good team. Atlanta. Dallas, not a good team as far as like record. But overall, they're not a good. Dallas, 45. And when he plays like for a little better of a team, he dropped 35. That's still value at this price. Phoenix, 35. Portland kind of gave it to him. Game because their home record's so good. So he only dropped 17, but he just was more of a bud, playing more defense. And then New York, he dropped 30 in that blowout. Will he get more points than any other besides? It'd be hard to predict Harris getting more than Beal. It's gonna be hard. I think it'll be close between those two. But I'm gonna go Beal, then
Beal
Harris.
Went off.
Did.
You think Harris goes for more than 40?
Like a 40% chance that happens. So it's. I think Gary Harris getting value is probably more likely than not tomorrow. He's only got to get 34.5. Gets that or more. pick, but like I said earlier, that's the one game I'm kind of sketched out about. But Gary Harris is kind of flop proof. He's not flop proof because you see the 17 drop. 15 game, there's a 29, 29, 22. That's not the biggest flop at his price point. It's 7-point flop. He doesn't have a single game under 20 in his log. Portland. So, hey, he's a good pick tomorrow.
I agree.
So, I kind of want to just nail down a couple more, or not high value, but high priced shooting guards relative to this slate. So, I have my top spot for Oladipo, then Beal, then Harris, a close third place to Beal. Who do you like for fourth place? Do you think Clay, Wiggins, Barton, Bazemore, Fournier? Who do you like?
Fournier gets me hornier.
Fournier gets you hornier than Wiggins? I mean, what are we going to do?
Wiggins depends on Butler.
Wiggins does depend on Butler, but even when Butler's in, he's, Brooklyn, pretty sure Brooklyn's defense is in the bottom 5. So, yeah, Wiggins' game log.
We'll probably play down to their level.
With Butler in, he can still drop 45.
That's true.
30, and then when Butler's out, his numbers went up to like averaging 37. Butler out. Value.
I'll take it for his price.
Wiggins gets like
him and Josh Richardson don't move price.
He's getting 6 value tomorrow, so like 36, 37, 38. I think that is more likely to happen than not to happen. So I'd put Wiggins at a value estimate of 6, which is pretty damn good. 36. Do I think that Fournier will top 36? I think it's very possible. I'm actually going to do this on Barton just to see how he performed against Dallas. He dropped 38. So I think it's going to be really hard to like rank the next few players exactly. So I'm just going to write them down as kind of around the same number. This is tough. I think I go Wiggins, regardless of Butler.
Agreed.
Into and then Clay.
You cut out.
So I'm going to go Wiggins, Fournier, Barton, and Clay to round out the shooting guards. And keep in mind, I think like the range Wiggins, Fournier, Clay, and Barton, I think those guys will all be within like 5 points of each other. There might be an outlier, like maybe Klay Thompson drops 46, maybe Fournier drops 50. You never know where I rank them. And let's move on to the small forwards. What do you think about the small forward pool?
It's kind of depressing on FanDuel.
You think it's a little depressing or really depressing? I mean,
on FanDuel,
we know that Kevin Durant is like.
I like Josh Richardson.
Let's assume Kevin Durant plays because he's like 95% gonna play.
I don't think I'm spending up for him today.
Already listed as probable. He had a sore foot. I mean, come on. A sore foot, you know?
I'm going to let you know I like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He did well for me today.
With that, I also had him today, and he was exciting. He was close to, I think he had like 22 fantasy points at halftime. For 4,900, his price hasn't changed either.
He remembered how to basketball or something. I don't know. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think, the concern to point out with him. That's right.
Back to back.
Opts to have, like, also, I don't know if he's a starter, but I'd assume if Miami is more likely to be ahead against Charlotte, So maybe he gets less minutes because of being behind. Great pick. But as far as the power rankings, we'll ignore Butler. Everyone else, like Durant, we're gonna just not ignore. So for the power rankings, I think it's obvious that you just gotta kind of Durant will get the most fantasy points in this pool tomorrow. If Butler
I'm
plays,
not feeling Porter. I like Barnes and I like
Porter
Richardson.
has not been a good pick as of late. I'll tell you what, I agree with you. I agree with you. So if we have Kevin Durant at first place, besides Kevin Durant and Butler, who's gonna get the most fantasy?
Barnes, Richardson. Mm, I don't
Like
know.
that? You like
After
that?
that, maybe some Jaylen Brown.
We have like a recent example with Barnes. They played Denver a week ago. He dropped 33. That's exactly what you need on him for 5 value. Johnson is a little bit dependent on Tyler Johnson, right? He's gonna get 30 minutes minimum. If it's competitive more. I like putting Barnes just an inch above. You there?
An inch above what?
Richardson.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So does FanDuel.
But I mean, we all know what Porter can do. He can drop 55. I did watch the game against OKC. We're there. I think he got pretty much value in that contest. And I noticed towards the end of the game, he was starting to get his threes popping, which is a big part of Porter's scoring is those three pops. Beginning of the season, it would just be Porter Jr., 3-point jumper. Uber Jr., Porter Jr., Uber Jr., boom, 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 boom. So I put Porter above the rest of the people. I think he's more likely to get fourth place on this list than DeMar Carroll or Richardson or Prince or Simmons. So I'll put him at fourth. Two more small forwards. Who do you think?
Mm, I would take another flyer on Gilchrist. And
So you think Gilchrist is going to get more than Jalen?
it's either Jalen or Gilchrist.
What about Carroll though? Shut down that dirty little caroling boy.
Eh.
Look at Carroll's game log. Let's see if we have an example against a good team, right? Oklahoma 17. Yikes. Although 42 against Miami. I don't know if Minnesota's defense will be too good
I like
without
having
Butler.
Richardson and Barnes. I don't know.
I think to round out my picks, I'm just going to pick two more people. I think I'm going to go. Oh no, man. I'm going to go Jalen and DeMar. DeMar Carroll can get a lot of threes popping. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to finish out my small forwards with.
I like the salary that you save there.
And DeMar. Yeah, I've noticed that it's a big problem for the Timberwolves. They have no problem getting points in the paint around the 16 to 19 feet jump shots. They have no problem there. Shooting enough threes, and if the Nets catch on, which I'm sure they have, they're gonna have LeVert and Carroll and their other guys just trying to hit those threes and keep it competitive that way. And I know Carroll takes a good amount of threes if he hits them. Right. Okay. So yes, let's pop it.
I like the
What are y'all
value
liking?
guys. I like value guys like Taj, Markeith.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna do a whole segment, just kind of go over some value picks. This pool though, we'll probably get into it now as well. Who do you think gets the most fantasy points? No value for this part, just most fantasy points in this slot, right? Who do you think it is?
Oh God, who fucking knows, mate? I suppose Aaron Gordon.
You like Aaron Gordon? I like that too.
I like Markeith.
You need 39 out of him. He's only done that once in the last, maybe twice in the last 10 games.
I like Markeith.
Know that Aaron Gordon had a big night. 80 fantasy points, which was really unexpected, right? To have Aaron Gordon get you maybe 50, but he dropped 80, and it was a really exciting thing because I had him. I was stoked about it. 7% owned.
Yeah, he can do that from time to time. I like Sabonis.
That's a little dependent on.
I don't mind Thad.
On Miles Turner. Last time Aaron Gordon played Indiana, points, 1 turnover. He got 39 fantasy points the last time they played Indiana. Before that, about 31. So he's played Indiana twice this season already. 39 fantasy points and 31. That helps now because it was so long ago that they played. We predict Aaron Gordon gets like 35 fantasy. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna stick with Draymond at the top spot. It's between him and Gordon. Now, besides the top 4 or those two, and then Rondé tomorrow. Are you going Taj as the next best thing, or do you want like Sabonis? What do you think?
Yeah, I like Taj.
Taj real quick and just see how he does against bottom teams. Like Orlando, he dropped 37. New York, he dropped 29. About 3 weeks ago, he dropped 25. The Lakers, 36 against the Lakers, 24 against Phoenix. Taj will get 30-ish tomorrow. And I think he's going to be relatively high owned. What do you?
I'd have to agree.
Besides Draymond, Gordon, and Taj, who else are you liking, you said? You said Sabonis, I think?
Yeah, I like Sabonis.
Okay, so one of the things I noticed with Sabonis is when Miles Turner is in, his rebounds are like maybe 7 or 8. Turner is out, they go up to 15, average more like 11. Maybe 4 fantasy points with rebounding, just from rebounding with Miles Turner out. Miles Turner played, he averaged like 22 fantasy points, 24 per game. More recently, with Turner out, he's getting closer to like 30 fantasy points a game. Definitely Turner dependent, because if Turner comes back, plays normal minutes, and Sabonis only gets 21, that's going to be tough, right? But I do notice the pattern of when a player has been out for a long time, comes back, all the minutes and off, right? So he's not a bad pick. a lot. Like for tournaments, I don't really see a lot of value potential with Sabonis. 30 games he's played,
I
right?
like going. I like Taj Markeith. Taj Markeith combo.
Pick the Taj Markeith combo. Markeith went up $600. I don't think they did enough price raise over on FanDuel. I think they hit this guy should be like 5,500.
Probably, I would agree.
I guess the game against Oklahoma was a little bit of a fluke, I suppose. Morris is a little bit unpredictable, I'll tell you what. But hey, his brother's on
My
on
top
ABC
center
tomorrow.
though, he's Karl Anthony Towns. Curran.
Okay. You like Karl Anthony Towns tomorrow, do ya?
I do. That's who I'm picking.
Locked him in.
I locked him in.
Fantasy points Toronto center got in the Friday slate. 60 something on Valu Chinchilla.
Yeah, I remember that. That ain't no big deal.
500. Big deal.
I'll stack Minnesota every day. Come on.
Yeah, we need to tell everybody listening right now, be careful with this guy when we're talking Minnesota. So,
I have no problem going Dwight Howard, though.
Howard's going to be slapping those balls down. Miami shoots a lot of three-point, though, so maybe the block potential today with 7-6. I think it'll probably be lower 3-4, maybe 5.
Yeah, back to back.
Points.
I'm off him back to back. Actually, I don't know. He's a GPP. He's a GPP. I don't care. He's a GPP.
Here, you think? I don't know if he's a GPPer because a GPPer you want to have 7 value across the board on your line, and that's going to get you 420 points, right? So
you're just going to throw him away, huh? Wow. Okay.
I don't think Dwight gets 7 value. I think
he costs too much for you.
Tournament winner would be someone a little lower, but I mean, it's such a drop off. I like Mason Plumlee. He did really well last time he played. We actually said on the podcast, we said it. I think it was our last value pick.
And do you know what?
We said 7 value. He got 7 values.
I ended up playing him the next day, just so everyone's clear.
You got 32, right?
I made the little mouse action saying no over his face, but I picked him. All right. I picked him.
You spun your mouse sporadically around him when I suggested him as to say don't do it. He's crazy, and then he dropped 7 value, and you're understanding where I'm coming from now, then, aren't you?
Yep.
So, like Mr. Kitty Cat, but
what do you think about
Biombo?
Biombo. Hold up, Biombo.
Only got some. Oh wait, Biombo is the Orlando center. I always get these African names mixed up. Biombo, Adebayo. I mean, are these like Pacific Islander names? I don't know what these are.
I don't know what's going on.
Both Biombo's gotten 50 before. He might do it tomorrow. Pacers might need a burst from the bench, especially if it's gonna be out pretty much. So we're getting into the value aspect of things, which we have a whole little small segment on next to round out the podcast. But what center in your head tomorrow gets the most fantasy points? Throw the value metric out the window. Biggest number. What is it gonna be? Whole slate.
Okay, well, you already know what it is.
Towns outperforms Howard tomorrow. And Joe Keek.
Yeah, easily. Without question.
For me, I'm going to go Howard as my highest fantasy points. It could be Cat. Second place to Howard, it's between Joe Keek.
So places to save some money tomorrow, though. Terry Rozier.
I have to mention this. The last time Joe Keek played Dallas, 65 fantasy.
Interesting.
You go, by the way.
Terry Rozier coming in at 3,800. So
He's going to be 40% owned tomorrow across the board then, right?
Maybe. And then we got
Marcus Smart.
Jose Juan Barea at 44. All right.
No, I think there's going to be a lot of picking going on tomorrow from Boston. Doesn't look like FanDuel raised any prices. How about DraftKings?
Tatum at 5K. I don't know. Do you call that value? Gortat sitting at 3,900. What's going on there?
He lowered his price by 400 after he fucked everybody on the OKC game without their consent. I think that was what happened.
Interesting.
I think the number one value pick tomorrow would be Terry, don't you?
The what?
Yes, and potentially best value pick tomorrow. Terry Rozier.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, Marcus Smart's out, yeah?
Yeah.
Aren't they the same?
He's going to be pretty high owned.
Be surprised to see him 40% owned in the tourney. Finding a little by the way.
What about a little behind him and just take Shane Larkin? There you go, eh?
What's the highest production he's had in fantasy points?
Oh God, I don't know. He hasn't gotten
Marcus
over
Smart
50.
Marcus Smart is a shooting guard. Rozier is a point guard. I think he'll pick up a lot of Smart's minutes. Could have 30 minutes tomorrow. If you're doing multiple entries in a tournament, maybe pick one without him, just to spice things up. Because if he flops, maybe he hurts his little diamond earring stud, caught something. You never know, right? I like Terry at. I would just put a standard value on him tomorrow. As far as our first value pick, about the Abadeo Bombadeo centers. Definitely agree with. I think we can just go over the value in centers right now, yeah. So Biombo is 6,000, which isn't much of a situation.
It's not bad, but
I mean the thing
I
that
think
sticks out
I'd rather take that Abadayo fly. I think
Biombo holds his own with 3, 2, 5, 2. So he can block.
Does that depend on if Turner plays? No Turner, better Biombo.
I don't think you want Biombo when Turner's out. As of now, Turner's questionable, so I'd say 50-50.
Honestly, Gortat 3,900 at Atlanta. I'm not an Al Horford guy myself, so I guess I probably won't have a lineup without Towns.
I'm gonna write down Biombo. You pick, I think that's more dependent. Maybe pick a lineup with him. Turner's still out. No, they're the same price too, so maybe if Turner's in, you snag Turner and hope for the best on his return, yeah? Because
I guess if you're a risk taker, you could do that.
Miami's backup center, he's real cheap. situation tomorrow where Charlotte's getting beat up by Miami. Adebayo's getting good minutes. Whiteside's on the bench, maybe. Yeah. Like a.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like an Adebayo or Bam. Why don't we just give him an optimistic 6 value? If he drops 50 and he's 0.9% owned, you're looking good.
I wonder why they're liking Jose.
The elephant in the room, Mr. Marcin Gortat. Shit all over you, as you saw on the last game with Oklahoma. Before that, he was pretty consistent. He's easily capable of 10x. Just in his game log on FanDuel, he's got 10 fantasy points. 2 games right around 10 fantasy points. Matt, if Gortat gets you 16 fantasy points, right?
I mean, I don't know. You're barely paying anything for the guy.
Yeah, I think the likelihood of him getting 5 value is like 35%, like over 5 value. Because with everybody healthy on Washington,
exactly,
trending more towards Morris.
That about wraps it up for me.
Have any more value picks to bring to the table?
I got nothing.
Okay, well, why don't we make a quick example duet lineup? Maybe we throw it in and just let it stand. But before that, why don't we? Because we've only got like 3 or 4 value picks.
Running the clock here a little bit.
Okay, so why don't you just pick one more value pick, and I'll pick one more, and then we'll finish it up with a quick 60-second lineup.
I don't have any other value picks.
So you're good on value picks?
I'm good.
I'm going to throw out one last name then. Mr. DJ Augustin.
Ew.
But he's gotten some pretty bombs a couple of times. Losing, which is a possibility. It's at Indiana, right? So.
Alright, so I'm going to pick the point guard, and the point guard is Alfred Payton. No, it's Kemba. It's Kemba.
You're going to go Kemba? I got to go Kyrie then. But...
Alright, the shooting guard is going to be Andrew.
Figures with no Butler swag. Figures. Okay. Pair it with Fournier. Makes me hornier.
Yeah. Small forward, Jaylen Brown.
Can't argue with the Jaylen pick, I'll tell you that. Good. I like Jaylen more than Jay. Okay.
Agreed.
You know what? I'm going to make a switch. I'm having second thoughts about Fournier, so can we switch Fournier to Barton?
Sure, buddy.
Prices, and it's like, why would I actually, what about, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Gary.
Where do you pick? You're picking Gary, okay. Can you pick your small forward then, as well?
My bad. You pick Jaylen?
Yep.
Oh, Durant. I think he's kind of a must-have. He wants to show everybody how big he is down there.
All right. I guess third day in a row I'll go Taj / Markeith. What's that?
Oh, we don't have Terry in this.
I don't even know who Terry is.
The Celtics.
Okay.
You want to swap Rozzy for Kemba or Kyrie and then forward, or do you like doing the cheap penalty?
That's completely your call, Mr. Kevin Durant.
Okay, we'll swap Kemba to Rozier.
Oh, we're
Kemba,
swapping Kemba!
swap Kemba, because I think he'll probably get value, but I think
Side with a few Z's at the
this is
end.
the way I look at it is
The
Rozier is going to
way
be really high
you
owned
look at it.
here with Smart out.
Pick your power forward!
You never said who your pick was. You said Morris and Taj, but you didn't say which one.
The answer is yes.
That's Taj, so I picked Taj.
What did you pick?
Taj as your pick, since you're not telling me what your pick is.
I'm picking Taj Morris.
Morris, not Taj Gibson.
Yes.
John Collins.
John Collins? Alright, I like it.
Okay, so now we're in a little bit of a situation.
Yeah, this isn't enough money.
Need at least 9,000. How about you picked Morris? I'm gonna pick his. Then we tomorrow.
What do you want to do? What are you trying to do?
Picked a center yet, and we originally had John Collins,
Yeah.
and Washington Morris.
Yeah.
I'm saying swap John Collins for Boston Morris.
Yeah.
Our options are we can either downgrade somebody by like $1,000 and grab Cat or Howard, end up by 2,000 and grab Horford, or we can spend way up and grab Plumlee.
We're going to Cat.
You want to do Cat?
We're going to Cat.
Is that pick? I just worry because I feel like Cat, good team, against good teams, it's like, whatever. I mean, I feel like it's hard to go Cat against Brooklyn, you know?
Nah. It's not your pick.
Okay. Well, we don't have enough money right now, so who are you targeting to swap? I would say we already have Austin. Maybe we want to cut that down to 3. I don't want to touch Kyrie or Terry, so we could swap maybe Jaylen Brown, or do you want to keep Jaylen? What do you think?
What do you move Jalen to? Can we?
Looks more like a cash pick. So if we can cut, what do we need for Cat? We need 800. If we can cut down to 4,500.
Yeah, there ain't nothing down there for that.
Maybe. Well, I guess Wilson Chandler. Cut though.
That's not it. I was gonna say. The clear cut is Gary Harris. In my eyes.
But I mean, he just played Dallas, dropped. Yeah. This is tough. This is tough. Like, Iguodala performed well. Iguodala, we know that Bell on the Warriors is out tomorrow. Out. The snag. They only raised his price a couple hundred after that. It's 3,800, 6.5. That value.
Sure thing, bud.
Then we got Iguodala. Can get Cat. We can get Eek.
All right,
Any center.
we'll go Whiteside, and we'll change Wiggins to Fournier. Did I break your brain?
You break my brain. Answer. Not break my brain.
You didn't hear me?
You said change Wiggins, Horny, and you want
Switch to Whiteside.
good. Lock it in.
That's what I'm saying.
Your pick. So
That's what I'm saying. GG?
wait.
No. No
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
No waiting.
Hey, no wait on the no wait. Good lineup. I think we got a lot covered tonight. Hopefully
GG.
everybody tuning in liked it, helped you out. Hit us with a good shit, bros, in the comment section.
Absolutely.
I'll make a lot of money.
Alright. GG.